Charles Boswich spoke about vouchers for dumping and all that type of thing out there. We had Josie and Dale from Public Works. They discussed the field spring, the 170th, Stagecoach still being monitored for speed bumps. We had through Wesley, Mary Peters did her SVP updates with the AB 727, AB 2104. Those are a couple of things going through right now. Then we also we had the 2310 illicit dumping pass through referred to Appropriation Committee. Isla Garcia, representative from Juan Carrillo, she was discussing that there. And then our member of the month last month was Megan from the library. And that was basically what we did last month.
Alright. So we're gonna move on to item 5, our guest speakers. We have to be out of here at 8 because they're gonna vote tomorrow instead, and so we have to make the meeting as prompt as possible. So we're gonna go around and get to our guest speakers. First, would you like to go first?
Sure.
Because make it call.
Sure.
Okay.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jim Richards. I'm the Antelope Valley Area CP Commander. I come here a couple of times, so it's not like Juniper Hills where I started off because I have not been there in a year. I told them I was in the Witness Protection Program. So I will try to make it up there when I can. So I usually start off just by letting you know what our staffing looks like. I think it's as good as it's been in recent years. We're fully staffed with 51 uniform personnel and 7 professional staff. Of the 51 personnel, we have 44 officers, 5 sergeants, a lieutenant, and myself. My lieutenant is vacant. There's a vacant position there, but next month we'll have a new lieutenant coming in. I believe it's from the gentleman from U-Haul, which is already working in Antelope Valley, which is going to be good for us because he's going to be committed to the crew. So that's going to be great. Enforcement and my strategic plan. Last year, in December, I came up with a plan for our office to hopefully get some key objectives. Obviously, I want to reduce the number of serious collisions and fatalities in the Antelope Valley, which includes Lake LA. So what we did was we came up with some stretch goals, and I'll leave you the strategic plan here. To improve enforcement or increase enforcement in an effort to modify driver behavior and lower those crashes. So my stretch goal for enforcement was to increase DUI activity by 10%, increase speeding enforcement by, I think it was 10%, and increase seatbelt enforcement by 15%. You gotta forgive me, I wear glasses all day long, looking at a computer monitor, and now I'm looking like this. I am happy to say that our overall enforcement has improved significantly throughout the Antelope Valley. Speeding enforcement is up 115% year-to-date from last year. Many of our seatbelt enforcements and other types of enforcement of moving violations is up anywhere from 35 to 50%. The one place that we do need improvement is our DUI enforcement. Last year we arrested more folks for DUI than we currently have this year. Now, I asked the guys and we kind of crunched the numbers and trying to figure out why that is and what we can do to improve. Last year, I will say, in the first quarter, we were on tactical alert, which means that all uniform personnel that canceled days off, everybody was at the office, everybody. And that was because there was some civil unrest down in Los Angeles. Now, ultimately, we all had to come to work, but they didn't have us come down to LA area. So because we didn't go down there and we're all at work, they all got busy, and I think more folks got arrested for DUI because we were just out there, as opposed to this year. And this year, our night shift, which focuses on impaired driving enforcement, is a relatively junior shift, meaning they have less than a year on the job. So I think they're still developing. So an adjustment that I've made looking at the numbers is I'm going to readjust the number of officers on our day shift and our night shift. I'm going to put an extra car, which means 2 additional officers on the night shift, and hopefully that will improve our enforcement numbers for impaired drivers moving forward. I'd like to point out that some of us, and I think that AD Scanner does an amazing job. They're out there all over the place. But if you want the official word on something, please look for us or look to us through an official press release. Recently we were at a meeting and someone had told me that there was a crash out on Mount Emma, which there was. It was a terrible crash where, some impaired driver, allowed their vehicle to cross over and travel on the wrong side of the road and cause a head-on crash. And the two folks that were unfaulted and impaired in that vehicle did lose their lives, so it was terrible. But the message that got out to the public was that everyone passed away. So, fatalities across the board. So, when I heard that news, because that is not what we put out on our official press release, when I heard that, I made sure that we went over to the hospital, and lo and behold, the other two folks were resting peacefully on the second floor. So, I just wanted to let you guys know that not everything that you read or on the internet is true. I know that you probably know. And if there are some folks that would like to get on our press release, email list, I'm happy to do that. So if you wanna take a list, if you guys wanted to be on, the press release, list, so you hear directly from us, yeah, then I'd be happy to do that. So, just wanted to put that out for you. All you need to do is send me an email, hey, these folks wanna be on that list, and we'll make sure that we add it to it. And then for that, I just wanted to, make myself available in case anybody had any questions for me.
Any questions?
Yeah.
What's the procedure for, off-road vehicles that are on the road?
Yeah, I'm gonna say it kind of depends, but it's a hot topic, right? And, I can tell you that there's been some recent developments in that. I think it was it Santa Clarita, Jeff? Orange County, took a very interesting approach, and we're kind of dialing that in right now. So it all depends, and, you know, here's the thing, let's say you have, someone, a juvenile, 12, 13 years old, that's on a quad. Now, what's the violation? They're on the road on a quad, right? So it won't be out of the infraction. Because the vehicle is not made to be driven on a publicly maintained road, it doesn't have the safety equipment to be on a publicly maintained road, and it's clearly not registered to be on a publicly maintained road. So we have a solid infraction. Now, it's for us to determine what are we going to do. I have to do a risk versus gain analysis for every pursuit that we get in. So typically, when people are unregistered, unlicensed, uninsured, and so forth, those are three good reasons why people don't stop when the red light turns on. And if I have a child on an off-highway vehicle that is committing an infraction, the law requires that I consider that infraction and then do a risk versus gain analysis and determine to what extent that person needs to be apprehended. And generally speaking, it does not, when I do a risk versus gain analysis, I think, okay, we have a child, we are gonna end up at high speed. The likelihood of negative outcome is significant if that person gets scared and then they pull out into traffic and they get killed. And then all of a sudden, I think of all these things that could possibly help, all these outcomes that could happen. And then I go to the gain, risk versus gain. Gain is we capture somebody for an infraction. Or, you know, at some point, you know, that infraction will turn into a misdemeanor because they didn't stop. And you think that's an awful lot of risk for a little gain. Now, if I'm chasing a 12-year-old, that's on an off-highway bike, and that 12-year-old gets killed in a traffic crash, the highway patrol is gonna get sued for a couple $100 million. And I'm the commander, so I have to direct my sergeants to always do that risk versus gain analysis. Now, hang on one second. Now, on the flip side, I just recently read some articles that occurred out in Orange County where I want to say the parents had been warned that, hey, this particular behavior is either going to cause harm to your child or it's going to cause harm to someone else. In that particular case, is anybody familiar with what's called a Watson advisement? A Watson advisement, basically, you know, if a law enforcement officer provides you an advisement that says, hey, the behavior that you just did could very likely cause injury or death, either to someone or some unintended person. And if you continue to do it, death is likely to occur. Typically, we have used a Watson advisement for DUI. So if I arrest you for DUI, and then I provide you an advisement that says, listen, just so you know, you've now been arrested for driving under the influence. This type of behavior reasonably can cause serious bodily injury or death. If someone dies as a result of a future DUI that you engage in, we will charge you with murder. Okay, well, in Orange County, a Watson advisement was provided to a parent that a deputy had gone to the house and said, hey, listen, the behavior that your child has engaged in is very likely going to cause harm to the child, and if that occurs, we're gonna come after you for child endangerment. Or it could cause injury or death to someone else, and it did, and they came after them for murder. So our tactic is gonna be a little bit more strategic in the Antelope Valley, and that is, we are gonna Watson advise these parents. Now in Acton, it's not a Lake LA issue, it's not an Acton issue, it's not a Pear Blossom or Little Rock issue or this is statewide. These folks are on this new technology, right, that's available to our kids. It's not expensive to get a hold of, they're not registered, they're not regulated. So it's new technology, they're in the hands of parents, or in the hands of these kids. And I think it's gonna be up to us to educate the parents. Now, in Acton, I heard that deputies had talked to parents, and 50% of them are like, yeah, whatever. Okay, but if we contact you and we have you on video receiving a Watson advisement, and we write an incident report that, in fact, we went to the house and advised you that this behavior is likely gonna cause serious bodily injury or death to either your child or someone else, and that happens, we will come after you. And that's how we're gonna take this approach. Yes?
Two concerns. Personally, driving down the road and I've got kids zooming in and out on these little mini bikes. And on busy roads, 10th Street West of Lancaster, and I don't wanna hit any of these kids. I don't wanna be any part of it looks like an accident waiting to happen. And Lake LA, we all hear them zooming around. So your first statement of there's a risk assessment that I really don't wanna chase them, which makes me think the Watson advisement is not gonna really happen.
No, we have ways of figuring out who these kids are. You know, and oftentimes the people that call and complain about these kids, they know where they live. So it's not like it's not going to happen. I'm not telling you that we won't turn the red light on. I'm just telling you, I'm not chasing a 12-year-old to death over an infraction. It's not happening.
Yeah.
So what I'm telling you is we have to do a little police work, a little investigative work. So when we get the complaint, if you know where the kid is, and I get these complaints all the time, the kid lives down the street, 5 houses to the left, I talk to the parents myself, they don't listen, they don't care. We'll go and talk to those folks. And we'll make that contact, we'll make that advisement, we'll do an incident report, and it will be on the record. And then when something bad happens, and eventually it will, and when something bad happens, we will take actions. And I think if you have a few incidents where it's happening in Orange County that got national attention, I don't think it's gonna be very long before people change their behavior. I hope anyway. I do know that this behavior has been going on out in the Antelope Valley for a long period of time. It's almost cultural. Some people buy homes that back up into these wide open areas because with that in mind, like, hey, we're gonna have, we're gonna go out there with family and take these off-road vehicles, and heck, we don't even have to drive them too far, we don't have to trailer them and so forth. So some people actually pick their location because that's something that they want to do. Now, I've only been out here in the Antelope Valley for a year, but you tell me, how long has it been going on?
I've been here 30 years, and there are times when it seems like an epidemic, and what's happened lately, these $20,000 vehicles, $15,000, $20,000, you have kids all over the place. And, their lights might be on, their lights might not be on, it's getting dark, you've got cars going around, and I understand not lost a child, but a child was injured last week or 2 weeks ago, our child was killed, tell me, it was 170th and N. I understand there was just an accident. So it was a child on a motorcycle, an off-road motorcycle, and ended up T-boning the car. And nobody wants this to happen. We love our kids.
Yeah.
And, that's really where it's coming from.
No, I totally get it, and, we will do our part to the extent that we can within the law and within reason.
And sometimes just like, publicity, send flyers out to the schools and let kids have a heads up,
Yeah.
you know? Thank you.
Sure, absolutely.
Okay, are there any more questions? Okay. I mean, thank you for that. Congratulations.
Sure.
We'll bring up Jose Centeno. He is the director of the Association of Rural Town Councils, and he will come and say.
Hi everyone.
Hey, Jose.
So my name is Jose Centeno, I'm a co-director of the Association of Rural Town Councils. So what the association is pretty much, just a big town council more or less, compromise of other town councils. So when we meet, once a month, every Wednesday of the month, we meet with people from the different, communities. So we have members from Lake Lane, we have town council members, we also have, community advocates who care about the community and want to, gather and share information that's presented at our meetings. So we have representatives from Green Valley, Lake Hughes, Leona Valley, Acton, Juniper Hills, Little Rock, sometimes Abaluce. So these are all the rural communities in the Alamo Valley. So it's very important that we as rural communities communicate with one another and share our concerns and what's going on. Communities like Acton and Abaluce, they're slightly different as far as vegetation and they're slightly different from us. Like I'm in Pearl Blossom, we have a lot more similarities with Little Rock and Lake Lane. But when we talk with one another, it's the same concerns that we've been talking about since they've been there for the last 3 years, which is the illegal dumping, code enforcement, issues with the 138, issues with obviously the off-road vehicles. So what we try to do is try to be in communication with LA County, cause that's the only, what we call it, all the town council members and community, this is all volunteer work. So this is, nobody's getting paid for this, this is for people that care about their community and they're putting their time, no different than you guys. You're here, you care about your town, so what we want to do is promote, the rural lifestyle in rural communities, for people to still be able to have horses, have space, not to let, let's say, the Little Rock or Lake Lake become another Palmdale, but it's just, track houses or warehouses or just a giant Walmart, and then you lose your identity. At the last meeting, on the last meeting that we've been talking about, is, the county is, creating a new renewable energy ordinance, so which means that it puts the Alamo Valley at risk of getting more solar fields. Of danger to our communities in the very high fire areas or the battery storage systems. So we don't want those in very high fire areas because it's our lithium batteries, for each shipping container, it's a shipping container full of batteries and each one is the equivalent of 13 Tesla cars. And we've seen what happens when a Tesla car burns, like when they just let it burn, there's no way for them to put it out. So we're working on that. The other part is that at the last meeting we had a meeting with code enforcement for very different departments. So it was a good reality check in the sense that it's overwhelming the amount of violations that are out here in the Alamo Valley. They don't have the manpower to be able to address all of them. And the process is they don't have a proactive approach, meaning that they don't go out and look for violations. They're more reactive. Meaning that somebody has to submit a complaint through the Works app or online or via or a phone call. So when that happens, they pretty much send a notice, hey, you're in violation, and and it's pretty much voluntary for the property owner to comply. So this process, I myself have some run in my area, and it took 6 months for them to clean it up, and that's volunteer, like they actually did it on their own. There's very few cases where they actually take more aggressive action, where they'll take the case out to the district attorney, but for those, it's 30, let's say last year they only had 30 cases out here, in the entire area. And these are kind of worst case scenario where you have a property that has just a bunch of pretty much trash, they just become like a, big, almost like landfills. So they promise that they're gonna try to expedite these, how to handle the violations. So they're asking for about 6 months to a year for them to fully implement their new improved system. They only have 3 people out in the Diablo Valley that do this, the actual enforcement. So overall, I guess it was expected, but it's just overwhelming, but hopefully there will be some improvement in there. So what we need to do as communities is, particularly those properties that are closer to somebody's home, because if you're next to someone who has a bunch of trash, or it could become a health hazard. You can, obviously, a lot of people don't feel fine reporting neighbors, but if it's becoming, like, it's a threat to your own property, like if they catch on fire, your house is next. There's ways to indirectly, submit a complaint, so it doesn't have a, and that you can do so. I'm not sure if the town council, would be a fine, or we can submit it through a chat. So we can, yeah, so it depends. Some town councils, they don't wanna get involved in any, reporting, they just wanna provide information, so it's up to the individual. But hopefully we'll see some improvement, in the code enforcement. So whenever they release, the new, kind of like new guidelines, we'll try to share them about town councils and the residents. So it is a big problem. The other one is the illegal dumping has happened. I have been to 3 trips, and I'm not sure if you, whoever knows Erica Schwartz, who's also one of the local here, and she's been very, a good advocate of trying to, get the problem resolved, but it hasn't gotten any better, but they're working on it. That's all we hear. So it's, not too much, not too, bash on the county, but we understand that they're doing the best they can, but we wish that they would have more resources. So that's about it for me. Thank you.
Jose? I do have a thing here, in regards to exactly what you're saying here, and I brought it up with council here a few months back. I've noticed a lot of new faces here tonight, but, code of the county itself, building and safety, they have a list of code, deals here, of all violations type of things of that nature there. They will, if neighbors do call, or if residents call, they call the man down here, there's a couple of different building and safety inspectors. They will come out and they will leave a notice at your door, and they will give you time to comply with it. I had a situation of a property that I was unaware was mine, I kept making the complaints. They finally came out, and told me that it was my property, which I was unaware of. But either way, the notice was there, they gave me 2 weeks, they sent me a formal letter from there. I have here a copy of it, where they did say I had a certain amount of time to comply and get these things taken care of. I had to pay my own money to get the cleanup from other neighbors that were doing all the dumping and all that. So it does happen, and they can enforce it, and they will bring out Public Works and all that to start enforcing it with, assessing what it's gonna cost to do it. Also what it'll cost for, it'll go on to the property tax, whatever else to do it. So I do have sheets here if anyone's interested. You know, it's not to make anyone to be completely ratting after your neighbors, but it is out of control out here, it truly is. And I have evidence here that they will come to the door and they will write up what it is, and all the codes are right here. So if anyone's interested in this, it's here. The man in charge was Tim Holden, he's actually the, the west side of Antelope Valley now.
That's an example of you volunteering and doing the actual what's expected.
Correct.
But, the problem is that a lot of people are, they're also occupying property that's not theirs, so
Correct.
when the owner, a lot of them are out of state, get a
Correct.
letter, there's no action. So, yeah, it's a big issue.
Yeah, that is the case with many owners not being same time, the letter is sent to the home and to the owner of the property. Because I don't live at the property that they sent it to, but I did get a letter at my house also, so whoever's on the grant deed on that, they do know who it is and they will send it to both places. So it's not like the owner can say, hey, I was aware of it. They get a notice also. Correct, yeah, they'll get a notice informally, so that way they can keep up with their tenants or whatever's going on with it. And be able to do things that way, because many places are probably that way. The homeowner doesn't live there, but the tenants, and maybe they're not paying attention to what's going on with the tenants. I see that quite a bit also. Okay, so, but yeah, there are some papers, anyone who's interested, I made copies for everybody, if you're more than welcome to have one. And if we can do things of that nature, hey, I know that Chuck and everybody, they've been doing everything they can. It's quite a burden out here, really, it's becoming more of a burden every day of the week. But building the safety says they will do the enforcement if they're called and things are reported to them, you know. Okay, thank you very much, appreciate it.
Thank you, Jose. Alright. Chuck Burrell, would you like, in case you get a call, you wanna come give a report or anything, a report out?
Yeah, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Deputy Gilbert Burrell. I'm your resident deputy out here in Lake LA. Thank you for being here, first of all. I'm actually working an overtime spot, so sorry, I apologize that I'm a little late. It's been great. It's been a great 5 years. Saturday, May 2nd, the day of our Secret Lawn Parade, it was really fun, and I've been out here 5 years now, working out here in this community with UPW people. So it's awesome. I love, trying to take care of you all as much as we can. A lot of things have happened in the past 5 years that I can't just break into, 5 minutes worth of talking time, but for the most part, as Mike was talking about right now, illegal dumping is one of the biggest things that's happening right now, and it has been. Just coming out here today and driving around with my partner, we were looking at some of the stuff that is being trashed on pretty much on our streets, everything from Avenue I to Palmdale Boulevard and everything in between. So that's something that I'm working closely with our partners who have an illegal dumping task force right now. We have with the county. I don't know how long that's gonna last. It's a granted item. So up until I know the whole aspects of how long this will last or whatnot, I can give you guys an update. But right now, the parade was a success, thankfully for that. We do have, obviously, as many of you know, a new stop sign was put up on Avenue P and 170th. It's been great. I know CHP has had a lot of interaction with people there, not only slowing down or maybe missing the stop sign. Recently, I was working the other day, I think it was Friday or possibly Thursday. We had an accident there, a kid on a motorcycle, not, following the rules of the road. Didn't appear that he was gonna stop. Fortunately, he's gonna be okay. Suffered some broken arms, broken legs, but he's gonna be fine. But with the help of everybody coming around, letting me know what's going on, it's a great help. Right now I have a project, Mr. Bosworth knows about this right now. I'm kind of looking for all the vacant homes within our community. I know that's a problem that a lot of you have and talk to me about as far as squatters and trespassers and things like that. So if you have a neighbor that you know that does have a vacant property near you, please reach out to me. My phone number is more than accessible to anybody, okay? If you don't have it, you can certainly grab it from Ms. Victoria here or anybody else that works in the community directly with me. Send me a text, who you are, where this property's at. I'm trying to gauge exactly how many homes we have vacant throughout our community and how many need to possibly be boarded up and how many maybe need some additional attention because they've caught on fire and they've been broken into over and over again. We literally just took a individual downtown this morning who was found inside of a house just for the means of taking a shower. But that in and of itself is, theft of utilities, if you will, in some sort of way, because he's going into a place that he knows is supposed to be locked and not accessible. And our deputies are going out and enforcing whatever calls we get. We're going to enforce those rules. And in this case, somebody did get arrested behind it. And unfortunately, it was a local unhoused individual that lives here in Lake LA, but I'm willing to work with these people because I know they're unhoused, they're looking for places to stay. Right now, they're trying to stay out of the heat. In the winter, they're trying to stay out of the cold. I have resources that I've come in contact with. One is our host unit with the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, which is a homeless outreach support team that comes out and helps people like that. I also have a mental health evaluation unit that comes out and assesses these people and works with them closely and follows up with them to try to get them some help. My biggest problems are with the businesses that call me and complain that, hey, this person's outside my front yard or outside my front door at business opening. And I wanna try to curb that by not only just, kicking them away, but trying to get them resources and get them help. I don't wanna just put a Band-Aid on them and say, just move somewhere else. I wanna try to get them help, but the thing is they have to want the help. And if they don't want the help, me personally, the Sheriff's Department, our hands are tied. We can't force them away from a community and say, here man, you belong somewhere else. And I know this is a big question on everybody's mind. Well, I've seen people or other agencies or whatever possibly drop them off in our neighborhood and then they take off. They feel like this is the place to drop off people. Well, I mean, if I see that happening with anybody, even, somebody that I don't recognize, and they just leave them at a bus stop, I may go up to them, hey, were you left here just for a ride for the bus? No, they brought me from San Bernardino, and, well, who was this? And I don't know who it is, and, that becomes now a problem for me, because now I'm like, well, now I have another unhoused individual, and we don't have resources here. We don't have resources to really care for people besides, a couple businesses that will reach out and maybe give them some food and water, but when you give them food and water, and you feed them, and let them bathe and do whatever, day after day, guess what? They're not gonna leave now, because now they feel they have resources, now they're gonna stay outside of that businesses. So, aside from illegal dumping and the burnt homes with squatters, I'm really trying to curb the unhoused problem. Graffiti, you've noticed it's been pretty much dissipated. I have resources that have been taking care of that. Once I see graffiti anywhere on the front business faces of anywhere, I really try to curb that. And I also have a county resource that will come out the next day, if not within the same day, to get rid of that. So applaud to the county, for helping me out with that. That really helps. Other than that, that's really all I have. Do you have any questions for me really quick?
Any questions?
Good.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you for that.
Joe, you said you do neighborhood watch once a month also.
Yes, I'm sorry, yes. Neighborhood Watch is the third Tuesday of every month, and we have one tomorrow. Right now it's at 6 p.m. every month, so 6 p.m. tomorrow at M&G Burgers, right here off of 170th, 40134, 170th Street East, M&G Burgers, 6 p.m. We hold the Neighborhood Watch. 20 to 30 minutes, give or take, maybe sometimes 40, with like 15, 20 minutes for questions and answers. Okay, so you can see me there tomorrow night as well.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you, thank you. Alright. So at this time, Lisa Garcia from Assemblyman Juan Carrillo's office. She has a report out.
Hello, everybody. My name is Isla Garcia. I'm a field representative for Assemblymember Juan Carrillo, who represents the 39th Assembly District. I have a short legislative update for today. So, two bills that I do want to highlight from our legislative package is AB 2104, increasing accessibility to public SVP court hearings. And this bill improves access to justice by requiring that court hearings related to sexually violent predators that are already open to the public provide a remote access option. And this bill passed the Assembly Appropriations Committee and is now on the Assembly floor. And our second bill that I'm highlighting is AB 2310, Realistic Commercial Dumping Enforcement Act. And this bill strengthens enforcement against large-scale and repeat illegal dumping, holds responsible parties accountable for cleanup costs, and protects communities from environmental harm, including allowing increased misdemeanor and felony sentence for large-scale illegal dumping. And so this bill also passed Assembly Appropriations Committee and is now on the Assembly floor. So really happy that these two bills are moving through the legislature process because unfortunately SVPs and illegal dumping is such a huge issue in our rural communities. So I don't have the exact date of when these two bills will be heard and voted on the floor. So hopefully by next, council meeting, I'll let you know the outcome of that.
Yes, could you tell them what SVP means, someone might not know that?
So their SVP is referred to as sexually violent predators, whether, they commit sexual, violent crimes. So most of these hearings are heard downtown all the way to Hollywood. So we do wanna make these, court hearings, if they're open to the public, accessible to, our rural communities.
All right, any questions? Okay, thank you for that. So at this time, Mr. Charles Boswell will give a report from Catherine Rogers' office.
Hi, I'm Chuck Bostwick, I work for LA County Supervisor Kevin Barger. I think the issues I deal with are pretty much the same ones that Deputy Brule deals with, illegal dumping, homelessness, lately fires. And I just say that, you guys are all welcome to call our office, anything you wanna report, whether it's a neighbor with, trash, fence post to fence post, or you see trucks going down a particular road, and they should be going down that road because they're probably dumping trash. This year, we did actually have a proactive way to search. We hired a satellite company to get images to search for large-scale dumping. We got a number identified through that, but but it's very expensive to hire a satellite company. I said that, people out in the Antelope Valley are more than willing to report anything they see, so you're welcome to call and report that. One of the bad operators was identified just because a woman had seen big rigs turning off 70th Street East and into the desert, and figured, oh, that can't be, there's no reason for them to be going over there. No legitimate reason. Again, homeless people, if you reach out to us and you tell me where they are, we'll try to see if we can get an outreach team out there. We have a couple of motels under refurbishment right now in Lancaster and Palmdale. They're supposed to be done by the end of this year. One would provide interim housing while we look for permanent housing for about 100 to 200 people. It's 100 rooms. And the other one is actually getting kitchenettes in each of the motel rooms, so that will provide permanent housing. And again, for another 100 or 200 people. And I think that's it for me right now.
And did you say it was a Lancaster?
Yeah, so, one of the motels that's under refurbishment is the old America's Best Value on Sierra Highway in Lancaster. Another one that's under refurbishment is the Knights Inn on Palmdale Boulevard in Palmdale. The same, nonprofit that's the county's a partner with, the way it is county went in partnership with a nonprofit called Hope Mission. Hope the state provided money for acquiring and refurbishing these. Hope the Mission's gonna run them. So there's at least two that are under refurbishment. There are 3 other small ones that have been purchased, and you can drive by and see they got fences up and they've been gutted. Those would be refurbished after the first 2 big ones. Hope the Mission has already refurbished and opened 2 other motels. They were side by side, so it's being operated in the Sierra, and that's 32 or 36, I think, units and families. So that's mostly women with kids, but also some fathers in there too. And that opened up a year and a half, 2 years ago. And there's 2 other motels that the county leased and that we used to put in people who we pulled. About half of them came out of 2 very large RV encampments in the outskirts of Palmdale and Lancaster. The others were just living in storm drains or fields or whatnot mostly around Lancaster and Palmdale. One of those is the Motel 6 on Palmdale Boulevard, and one of those is the townhouse in Sierra Highway. And Hope the Mission is running one of those, and another nonprofit is running the others. And that's all in addition to the, I think, close to 200 beds we've got up at the former High Desert Hospital out of the line, 60 plus. Yeah, so I'm hoping that we can get these things open. There's
any questions for Mr. Bosman? I would like to say we have our newly elected city councilman Cedric White here for Lancaster. That's your So is there any more questions for Mr. Bosman?
Oh, I said there. I
Yeah.
thought we were introducing Mr. White, so.
Yeah, what creates homelessness, is your opinion of it, and what does the
In my
county,
opinion?
what does the county and cities do to try to prevent it?
Well, so in my opinion, an awful lot of it is drug addiction. I mean, that's my opinion just from
What is it?
drug addiction. An awful lot of the chronically homeless, they are methamphetamine users and now fentanyl users. Just an awful lot. But of course, there's also, there's, you know, rent increases going up, there's domestic violence. It used to be you could pay $500 for a house for rent out here. You can't, houses are $3,000 now. You have women fleeing abusive boyfriends or husbands, I run into them. It's all that stuff.
Shouldn't the county and cities and government be looking into how to prevent this and how to?
Well,
If you lose everything you have, you're gonna go on drugs too, because you can't do anything else, just to survive.
Well, so, yeah, I don't know, the problem is that there's way more people who want, you know, free housing than there is free housing to give
Well,
to.
they say after the fact,
Yeah,
try to do something before the fact.
well, and so in some cases, in fact, we will help pay, rent. And so help you how much rent can we pay and for how long can the taxpayers pay it.
After the fact.
And okay, so along the lines of, as I said, I think drug addiction is a lot of it. I think one of the reasons why, the homeless numbers jumped so much in about 2020 is because, if I remember right, about 20,000 people were released from, state prison in 2020 and 2021. So you have 20,000 people, probably a third of those came from Los Angeles County, so that's maybe 6,000 people. And we're about 4% of Los Angeles County, so 4%, I can't do math like that. That's maybe 400 homeless people showing up here with criminal records. They're not murderers, mostly not murderers that are let loose, but they're drug users and thieves, and so they wanna, and if you're released from prison, who's gonna rent you a place to live? I don't know. Landlords usually aren't going to. Anyway, so we do have efforts to try to keep people, from being thrown out for evictions. The county's bent over backwards trying to reduce evictions. We've got, along my, you know, mental illness and drug addiction part, another form of hotel on Sierra Highway is being converted into a residential behavioral health facility. When I call it a psychiatric hospital, I'm scolded, because it's not a psychiatric hospital, but it is. So it's the former, Antelope Valley Inn, which later was University of Antelope Valley. It's got something like I can't remember, I think it's got about 200 motel rooms. So, the idea is people who are under conservatorship, which the rules for putting people under conservatorship have been loosened this last January 1st. We put them there, to get treatment and to essentially have somebody watch them so they're not living out in the storm drain or out in the field someplace. It's gonna be a couple of years before that's open. There'll be a number of people who'll be inside there. It'll essentially be a fence, security perimeter fence. They're not allowed to leave, and we'll have classes and vocational training that they attend on campus. There'll be other people, that'll be living outside the security fence, perhaps graduates of the inside the fence, programs, and they also can go to the vocational training and the classes on the facility. Again, that's it, on Sierra Highway in Lancaster. That's still a couple years away. And Lancaster and Palmer Rouge and Mass have a partnership that they got state funding for to open up a psychiatric hospital in Lancaster.
All right, thank you, Mr. Booker. At this time, Josephine here,
actually only have one item to report, and it's, the study for the, Stagecoach Avenue. We completed the review, and right now, study is recommending installation of speed cushions between 161st Street and 169. So the next step is basically, our team is gonna come up with, conceptual design. And then, once that's done, then we're gonna send out mailers to the residents along, basically active residents, to get the feedback on the proposal. Depending on, yay or nay from the residents, then, we'll go from there and so forth. So, we're hoping to send out the mailer in about 4 or 5 weeks, so end of June, hopefully, residents will get the mailers and we'll know by the next month as far as, well, not next month, I guess, in July as far as what the results are and what we go.
Very good. Well, maybe fingers crossed, I know all the neighbors around my daughter's place, they're anticipating something very soon,
So hopefully, like I said,
Fingers
that's-
crossed.
Anybody have any questions for me?
What exactly is the speed limit?
Those are the speed humps. Okay. To slow down, because, one of the main concerns was, a lot of speeding along state roads. So we, our traffic investigation group did a study on how we could help, one of the biggest recommendation is speed cushions or speed humps.
Where were they gonna put speed bumps at?
It's proposed on Stagecoach between 161st Street and 169.
It's one of the longer streets out here that don't have any, kind of, stop sign, there's nothing there, it's just one long stretch all the way up, and it travels upwards. And the kids out there, they fly up and down that road like, just,
That's right next to Avenue P, is that it?
they're pretty big, they go pretty wild up there. Big trucks, the motorcycle kids, everything, I mean.
When you get one of those speed cushions at a top speed, I mean, it will kind of launch you and kind of redirect you back to slowing down, because you don't want to hit the next one.
No, I understand that, but some of the speed, they got posted signs out there that say the speed limit's 25 miles an hour. But then our speed limit's actually 55, I believe.
They
If
won't
there's
go-
X amount
Not
of
to the
houses
neighborhoods.
and not enough houses on a certain street, it's 55, but, have those legally been lowered, or they just post them up there?
I think it says 25, and that's illegal.
Yeah,
I know
it's
some
around
people-
residential neighborhoods, it's more
High
normal.
school,
Yeah.
high school is 25.
And residential streets is 25, so
Correct.
inside town, those are all legally 25.
We have one street where it says 50, it shouldn't, they did something, they switched on the sign. Speed cushions are not to be confused with the stops, those slow stop strips.
No.
No,
So
those,
don't get confused with those.
yeah,
on
those
the
spot
side.
dots are basically just to
So
alert.
alert you that a stop is
I mean,
coming, so
motorists
not to be
that
confused.
Something's coming, like a stop sign or something.
It says Q is 25, I got a car with my computer shop, and it says Q is 25 miles an hour all the way down to the 4 H's.
Yeah, so you have a school there, Lake Los Angeles Elementary School. So the reason why I would say it's 25 the whole way is because from 170th, as you start approaching Lake Los Angeles Elementary School to the south, it's a pretty busy area, and cars park almost to 170th
That is
sometimes.
25.
So 25, I would even say it should be
It's all
lower.
the way down to Q.
100%, yeah, and that's fine, because people will walk sometimes home that way, so why would be past the school beyond 160th, I don't know, but,
And that's on your GPS, it's telling you that? It might just be wrong, I don't think.
it should, after 160th, it should start picking up again.
It does.
Yeah, it shouldn't be 25 after 160th. Probably between 160th and 170th, 25, I would say is the same zone, and even then you have probably a little bit
It's
of.
actually the block before the Lake LA school starts, that's when the 25
Yes,
mile an hour
correct.
zone comes up, and it has a big sign that says school.
Yeah, school's over.
Everything else.
It's only 25 when children are present. The speed limit is actually higher through there.
Correct.
So, and when, way back when, we had that argument with everybody, out of control and everybody else. What means children are present, when they're behind the fence, or when school's.
School hours, me, I take it as school hours,
Yeah.
if it's school hours, you know, Monday through Friday. And schools change their hours so much, so I would be safe to say Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to about 3 p.m.
But I'm just, it's just.
And then there's after school programs, so if you see people walking their kids out, you know, it's just, me personally, to be safe, whenever I pass the school, it's just probably easier just to obey the speed limit. There's really no reason to probably even speed past. And you know, kids on the weekends, they jump the fence, they go play basketball. You don't wanna, you know, have that on your conscience to hit a kid that, you know, it's one of those things. If you're passing the school, just slow down. Yeah.
Anything else?
Thank you for that, Mr. Terrace. Okay, so, next we have Megan Robbins with the library report. Hello, Megan.
Hello. I'm from Lake Los Angeles Library, which is just up the road here. We are right next to Ace Hardware, in case you're unaware. I'd like to highlight some of our upcoming programs. Summertime is busy time at the library. Summertime starts now, I mean, the weather, right? But, next Tuesday, May 26th, we are going to have Elephant and Piggy Book Party. We're very excited for this. If you're unaware, Elephant and Piggy are much beloved book characters, a series by Mo Willems. We're gonna be celebrating Mo and Elephant Piggy and, lots of fun crafts for, small children ages 3 to 7. We'll get into the adult stuff here in a minute. In June, that is officially our summer discovery season. Summer Discovery is a reading game. It is for all ages. Little bitty babies all the way up to your oldest adult can participate. You can read for prizes, and it's a good time. And we have lots of programming associated with that. One of our first programs is gonna be Magic at the Library. We're going to be visited by a magician, Wayne Kawamoto, and he's gonna dazzle us with magic. That's June 4th, late in the afternoon. What else? Oh, so our lunch at the library program. Every summer, it is our privilege to serve children free lunches. Weekdays, so Monday through Friday, at noon sharp. From noon to 1, you can come and get a free lunch if you are between the ages of 0 and 18. And that is starting June 15th. And it runs until August 7th, which is not exactly the time that they're out of school, but it's roughly the time that they're out of school. Okay, let's talk about adults and teens. So June 25th, teens are gonna have an opportunity to fly drones in the library. We are going to set up a cage, yes, a cage in our library, and kids, teenagers can come and fly the drone and not crash into people because they're in a cage. But it should be a fun time. Registration is required for that event, but we're very excited. Again, that's June 25th. Adults, let's see, so on June 30th, at the end of the month, we're gonna be playing the Fishbowl game. And I don't wanna give you too much information about that, just know that it's fun and it's a good opportunity to meet people in the community, and we're excited for that. Anything else? I talked about lunch. Yeah, that's it. Summer Discovery. Anybody can participate. You do not have to have a library card to enjoy Summer Discovery. Just come in and register and. Anybody have any questions?
Any questions? Okay, thank you, Megan. All right. So, Stormy, did you have anything that you wanted to come forward with?
Couple of things. Friends of the library, and I'll put this back there for you, Stan. We'll be having a meeting on Friday, June the 5th at 4:30 p.m. But before that, on May 30th, we're gonna book signing. And the book signing is gonna be from a person who grew up and lives around here, and her name is Amanda. I can pronounce her name. Amanda LaPera. And she will be here to, book sign, and she'll be having a discussion, just a casual discussion with the people who come in. It's free, there's no cost. And her book talks are gonna be 1:30 to, at 1:30 to 3:30, and you can buy a sign, you can buy one of the books. And at the same time, we're gonna have a used book sale. All the books that come into the library, that bring to the library, use the money to do things like get the Amanda here. We're going to have this sale in the library itself, given permission to have it in the library. And you can come in there, 50 cents, 25 cents, $1.50 to build up your library at home. And let's see what else. Basically, let me tell you that we have a group, and we have a website, and we have a Facebook page, and we have an Instagram, all for the Friends of the Library. And we always welcome the prospective members to come in and talk, get an application, come meet us, come sit at one of our meetings and see what we're doing. Thank you.
Thank you. Mary, Hannah from the Park Association, yes.
I say Park Association because that's what it was in '87, and that's what got started out here in Park here. But that's generations ago now. What it is Parks and Conservation Association. It's a 501c3. We just got our platinum seal of approval again from Candid, which is nationwide, making sure that we do what we need to do. What we do is we have 2 meetings a month, and mostly they are on, it's now on Google Meet because it's free, and we have Google Architecture as what we use for our nonprofit. And they'd like me to be here as well. The internet does not always support that very well, but our next meeting and it's the 2nd Thursday and the 4th Thursday at 7 o'clock. And www.lakelpark.org gets you the Zoom contact, it gets you the Meet contact, and it shows you what we're up to. But it starts with this community and I say this repeatedly, you are paying $58 a year, 56 something or other a year, and it comes to this park. No other town does that, not in the county parks. They do in the cities. The cities have additional support, but not in the unincorporated areas. So you have an additional love and ownership of this park. And it's a 2-way street. It gives you a little bit more say. We have an MOU. You're going to be going over the bylaws if you come to the next Thursday meeting and say, where do you want to go with this? We have been doing a carnival for years, but we're really not carnival people. We're really support of the community people, and the carnival is just one activity. We also support the snow and the kids having toys at Christmas and the trunk or treat, and we've done springtime family play day. We've done lots of things. What do you want to do? What do you want to support? What do you want to have happen? So that's what you're going to be hearing is more and more of it, because every generation has their own interest. We work well with county. The MOU ends up being in 2 parts. It developed over time, but it says that we oversee that LLAD. It says that's our job. Our job's really, we don't get paid, totally volunteers, but our job is to make sure that that money's spent right, because it's your money. Is the money spent right? So it says in the MOU that we end up sitting down with county every year and going over the budget. And you know how that goes. It doesn't go always exactly like that. And so part of it is just getting your voice out and saying, wait a minute, you know, how's it going? So you're all welcome always to any meeting, they're wide open meetings. Please give your voice, you know, say what you want.
What is this meeting on?
Pardon?
What is the platform it's on?
It's on Meet. And so if you go to www.lakellypark.org, the link is on the top, it's on the banner of every page.
Okay.
And it drops you into, an activity page. The page changes each, part of the year as far as what is your landing page on that. But that's the link. It's also on Facebook, and Facebook leads into Instagram and stuff like that, but we're not as good as Instagram, because we got hacked a few years ago, and that was a nightmare. So, we're still in the land of getting that one separated out, the Instagram, but Facebook works great, and so does the website.
Thank you, Mary.
And so, you're welcome.
So that concludes our presenters. At this time, no more presenters, right? Okay, so do anyone have any upcoming events that they'd like to share with the townspeople and the council? Anything coming up that you'd like to share? Anything? Nothing? Okay. You already spent your meeting, okay. Okay, so the next thing is public comments. Any public comments at this time? No public comments. Okay. All right, so, any activities or announcements? Anybody? Something? No activity. Thank you. What would you like?
In Little Rock, they're having a paint and sip event, and it's, Saturday, May 30th. And I think, it should be in one of the, Facebook pages, so it's, it's for the, the Alpine Bridge. So it's a fundraiser event for them that they're trying to get it reopened, so they can have more events for the community. And also it's in a place where they can rent it out for events, parties and stuff, so.
What date you say it was?
May 30th.
Okay. Is there anything happening at the park for the Juneteenth event or something that Jackie Robinson
They
Park?
did, I think they're really big.
Yeah, Jackie Robinson is having their annual Juneteenth, starts at 10 a.m., goes till 4, I believe.
Is that 2 days?
It's just one day, it's just on Saturday.
Okay.
Let me say it right so I know which one. Yes, it will be 20th, so 2 days after, 2 days after the real event. So again, it starts at 10, program at noon, essentially. There'll be music there and vendor booths and community organizations and a history of Sun Village. And this is one of the oldest Juneteenth celebrations in Los Angeles County. It's the first one I ever ran into, but apparently there's one down in the Crenshaw district that started in the 50s and this one started in the 60s.
Yeah, it should be an exciting event. It's always full of people.
I forgot to say, we are Carnival people because it's a nonprofit. We're a nonprofit and we're a pass-through. So if something comes from industry, it passes through. Shop Your Shows comes and donates $100,000 in value to this park. Each ride, if they were to rent it to you, they would ask for $10,000 per ride for you to use it. So one of the things that we're making sure in our nonprofit, keeping everything straight, is to get a letter from them saying that. It's been a discussion, but to keep everything straight in the nonprofit world, you have to have like this little document that says blah, 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 and then it goes on to your blah, 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 blah. It is what it is. But we're very.
For the 990s at the end of the year type of thing.
It's $100,000, so it puts us into a different category once we get that thing straight. You don't go back and fix others, because it happened that one of the county personnel asked me what it would cost, because they wanted to have a Juneteenth. That's what reminded me of it. And I said, well, I don't know, I never asked. And he said, well, 10,000 per ride, what do you want? And they were like, we can't afford it. So by having a nonprofit partnering with the park, you get it.
Alright, thanks for that. Alright, so this brings us to, the little ceremony that we have at the end of the meeting, and it is the Lake Los Angeles member or person of the month. And Megan, I have your little, you won it last year, you didn't get your little. Yeah, last month, So this year, we are honoring Mr. Charles Boswick.
But I'm not a Lake Los Angeles.
No, you're not, but we're honoring you for being at meetings and everything that you do and how you contribute to all the town councils. And here goes your little,
I will wear this into the office tomorrow. Thank you very much.
Okay, and we have a little, Megan, here's yours.
And I
And
would say that Lake Los Angeles is very close to my heart, so.
here's yours, and then we have our little thumbs up little thing you put on your desk.
A thumbs up.
Got a little- Megan, here's your little thumbs up.
Should we get
That's
Megan
your-
over there?
What do you think? We like to do this for our members every month, just honor them, just, people that are special.
Come on, Mr. Boswick, there you go. All right, there we go.
Perfect, thank you.
All right. So with that being said and done, we're going to adjourn the meeting. Motion to adjourn? All in favor? All right, so this meeting is adjourned. Thanks everyone for coming. Help us out with the pieces and the hotels in the back, please.